Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Hello and welcome to Better on Draft. This is episode 392. We'll be talking to Rocky Ridge Brewing out of Australia. My name is Rob. I'm one of your hosts. With me today is Wendy. Hi, Wendy. What are you drinking?
I've got a Peanuts and Cracker Jack Robust Porter from the Mitten Brewing Company.
Oh, I am so excited. I'm going up there next week, and I always get that beer.
It's fantastic. I actually had to go and buy it because I went out to lunch with my dad the other day, and he asked what beer to try, and I told him to try that one, and he liked it so much I had to bring some home for him.
That's all right. For myself, I have a Taxman Expat Oktoberfest because it is the best season of the year right now, and you have to drink all the Oktoberfest.
It is,
yeah. And with us today is Hamish and JP from different parts of Australia, from Rocky Ridge Brewing. So, gentlemen, how are you? What are you drinking? I guess we'll go with Hamish first.
Morning. It's balmy 8:20 in the morning here in Western Australia. I've got a juicy mid, so 3.5% just to start my Saturday off right. Loving it. I'm happy to be on. Cheers, guys.
JP?
And for me, it's the same, but I'm at the brewery, so I was able to pour it on draft. So it's best beer to start the day. So yeah, and thanks for having us. Happy to be here as well.
And what do you think? Is it better on draft?
It is better on draft.
Sorry, I have to ask that. I really have to ask that. So, gentlemen, I see Hamish, you're the founder, and JP, you are the venue manager. So I'm going to just start because you're on the left, Hamish. I'm going to start with you. But how did you get into craft beer and into Rocky Ridge Brewing?
So mine's a pretty bad story. I started home brewing at uni, made some really, really terrible beers, and got very frustrated at my inability to brew well. So that sparked my stubborn streak, and I went, I've got to learn how to do this properly. And so began my foray into brewing, I guess. I was lucky enough to get a job fairly early in the industry here in Western Australia at another brewery called Cheeky Monkey, and started as assistant there, scrubbing tanks, cleaning floors, doing all of the pardon my language, shit jobs. And I went from there to we had a harebrained idea to start the brewery on a farm. And then the rest is Rocky Ridge. So, started small home brewing, bad beers, and then learned a lot. And here we are.
Excellent. And JP, how about yourself?
I got in beer as a hobby, which is convenient to say drinking is my hobby, but just like got into craft beer. I'm from Chile. And craft beer blew maybe 5-6 years ago. So there were all these new beers that no one were talking about before, and got interested. And I used to work in tech in Chile actually, and then I moved to Australia in 2023. And one of my goals was to get in the beer industry. And the easiest way without any experience and the quickest thing was getting into the front of house role. And I've been working just in breweries since I moved to Australia. And after a couple of years here, I started working at Rocky Ridge, and it's my home now.
And I was introduced to y'all because I was down in Melbourne and went to the Brunswick location. I assume it's the Brunswick location. My son introduced me. He is a regular there. And I just had a wonderful time, and I was so excited. I love your space. Would you mind talking about it and just kind of how it's laid out and what's going on there?
Yeah, so our tap room is inside the brewery, as you saw. We share the space with the production team. So this used to be another brewery before. It was called Thunder Road Brewing. It was this space is maybe like 15 years old, if I'm not wrong, Hamish. It's quite old. And Hamish with Rocky Ridge acquired this space in 2024. And yeah, like the tap room is inside the brewery. You're like surrounded by the tanks and by the brew house, which is pretty cool. It's like a very industrial setup. We have 32 taps of beer, which is very fun for people to come and try all the beers. And actually, we're the Rocky Ridge Brewing with the least taps, which is funny. um, and yeah, it's a very cool space. Like the pallet racking is, you can see all the like cans and like the empty kegs and all like the grains and stuff. So it's like a very immersive experience, I'd say, and people really like that. Like you feel like you're like part of the brewing team almost, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's a really fun space.
I did enjoy it a lot. I like that you're sitting and surrounded by things. I was mostly sitting up near the front by the food truck, but you got to go back and be surrounded by all the tanks and stuff when you order beer, which is just beautiful. And then the restrooms, you have to go upstairs onto the catwalk that you can kind of see behind you. And so you just get this beautiful view. I have some wonderful pictures of the tap room area. I really like the way you guys have laid that place out. So Hamish,
it's a really cool space.
Yeah, Hamish, you're in Western Australia, and I noticed that it's a 15-hour drive from Perth to Melbourne. So how did you manage to expand out to that area, as it sounds like your main brew house now?
So it was an interesting one. So we have 3 venues here in Western Australia, and then we have our brewery here in Jindong, which is sort of in the southwest of Western Australia. So we had Thunder Road was up for sale, and we saw it as a really good opportunity for us to solidify our brewing footprint on the east coast of Australia. So as you said, it's a 15-hour drive. Shipping beer that far isn't exactly the smartest thing to do. It's a long way away.
Sorry,
from
I
us
misspoke.
here.
It was a 41-hour drive when I looked it up. I'm so sorry.
It's a 4-hour flight. It's quite a long way away. So we started brewing on the east coast, basically, to cut that freight leg out. Keep to our aim is to be as lower impact as we can be, and to tread as lightly as we possibly can. And a big part of that was to minimise our freight links wherever possible, minimise the food miles that our products are travelling, minimise the distance the ingredients are coming to our production facilities. So our facility here in Jindong, we produce about 2 million litres of beer a year. We've got a capacity of about 4 million litres of beer. And the brew house in Melbourne, we're producing about 200,000 litres, give or take, with a capacity there of about 1 million litres of beer as well. So it's we've got a reasonable amount going on, but we're just trying to keep it fresh and service local communities and make sure that we keep the best beer in everyone's hands we possibly can. As JP said, it's we've got 32 taps pouring there. We've got 40 taps in each of our venues here in Western Australia. So we keep it fresh, keep it interesting, do lots of small batch stuff, and keep the brewers interested, really.
So it sounds like the Jindong one is still the largest of the 2 main brew houses.
It is,
okay.
Yeah. So most of our beers here in Western Australia. So this is kind of our home state, and we're slowly but surely expanding out in Victoria. And again, it's all about growing that community and growing those roots, which JP's sort of leading the charge of back there in Melbourne.
So tell us a little bit about how the brewery got started.
So when we set out, the brewery is based on our family farm. So we've been on the farm for 100 years. So basically since the group settlements here in Western Australia, as I said, I started my journey in beer at Cheeky Monkey Brewing, and I kind of, not specifically with them, but just in the general industry, there was a lot of imported ingredients at the time, and I got a little bit frustrated given that we are in the middle of a really world-class wheat belt, right? So we grow some of the best malting barley that you're going to find in the world. We export an awful lot of it, and yet we were still importing tons of ingredients, basically. So Our premise when we set out to start was around local first. We thought that we could do a farm to glass brewery. We grew more rapidly than our ability to keep up with that was. So instead, we've invested our time and energy into working with local processors, local producers, and again, developing that supply chain to keep it as tight as it can be. So, for instance, all of our barley comes from a single farm in a town called Coolin, which is about a 3-hour drive from us, goes directly to the malt house in Perth and then to us down here. We do 320 tonne batches at a time, and we bring that all into storage down here on site. So we try and minimise every single step of it. The farmers farm in a Sav will hate me saying this, but they do farm in a regenerative way. They are all about low inputs, so minimising nitrogen, minimising their herbicide and pesticide use to make the barley and the grain the lowest impact it can possibly be. They're actually they started the whole process looking at food density and nutrient density of the food, so they wanted to make the most nutrient dense foods that they possibly could on their farm, which also happened to lead to lower CO2 input, which was where we got talking and started. So yeah, look, the brewery started with the premise that we wanted to work with local ingredients and work with local farmers. Sorry, that was a roundabout way of getting that.
No, I think that was fascinating though.
Absolutely. So, sorry, I'm sidetracked because our stuff is blowing up here. JP, you have a lot of fans watching today.
Yeah. JP has a lot of fans in the chat.
Yes. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about what it's like, what people should expect when they come to visit Rocky Ridge.
I think people should expect a friendly face, people that want to chat about beer, people who are passionate about beer. That's what we try to give to people. Like, we have a lot of customers that really want to learn about beer. That's really cool. And having so many taps, so many different styles of beer, we always have time, dedicate time to explain people what the differences are, even if it's to West Coast IPAs, what they can expect because of the hop products we use. So trying to be very welcoming and as Hamish said, always trying to building a community around the brewery. And trying to be as welcoming as we can.
I also see that you were Australia's first certified sustainable brewery.
Yeah, so we're the first certified sustainable and carbon neutral brewery. So we're I think the only brewery currently that certifies all of our core range products. So certified sustainable is essentially an accreditation that recognises supply chain and the impact that the supply chain is having on products. So we've worked pretty heavily with the certified sustainable crew and obviously then our suppliers, processors and producers to make sure that everyone's vetting what they're doing and again reducing impacts where possible. It's not about being perfect. It's about just taking steps towards minimising and reducing that where you can. So it's been a really rewarding experience. We've found that everyone in the chain and everyone who sort of grows for us is really keen to learn more and understand more and see where there's been some pretty big wins along the way and really simple changes that have resulted in pretty massive impacts, which is really cool. So it's been a fun journey, and I think I enjoy learning how we can have lower impact or how we can have a better positive impact, I guess, is the way to put it. So it's really been good fun.
Can you give us some examples of some of the steps that you've taken to make that happen?
In terms of the certified sustainable process? Yep,
any of that. I'm always impressed with the steps that breweries take to go this route. There's a few breweries that we've talked to that I'm blown away by the things that they've done and what they've accomplished.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, in terms of just what we do as a brewery, so we run our production facility in Jindong entirely off-grid. So it's solar panels and batteries feeding the brewery. So we've got about a 0.5 megawatt of storage on site, and we've got enough usable power to power about an average of 120 Australian homes at any point in time. So that alone reduces our carbon footprint by, I think it's about 1,000 tons a year, so 1 million kilograms a year of CO2 reduction there. We are self-sufficient on the farm, so we have all of our own water coming from an artesian aquifer. We then filter all of that. We utilize all of our wastewater, so it goes through a ceramic membrane filtration system to bring that water back to essentially a clean standard. So the next step in that, we haven't quite got there yet, is to use that for wash down. The remainder of the solids that come out of that get composted as fertilizer on the farm. As I say, we are on a farm, so all of our grain, all of the spent grain just goes straight back out to cattle on site, which has been quite a valuable source of feed, along with the yeast and some of the hops that don't particularly like the bitterness of the hops. So we have to be a little bit more careful with that and compost a little bit more of those. The supply chain side of things has probably been our biggest learning curve. So our internal logistics coordinator has her work cut out, making sure that we're consolidating shipments into our site and out of our site, mostly because we're geographically isolated from the major centre where we sell most of our beer, which is Perth. So it's all about the freight consolidation, which is kind of, sorry, Jenny, but it's kind of boring in some ways, but it's also, it's where those kilos do get reduced, because if you can bring a full truckload in rather than partials, it makes a huge difference to the overall footprint on the site. And then obviously things like using cans instead of bottles, you've got double the amount of freight on one pallet space versus the bottles, where they're a lot heavier, have a higher impact. Cans being slightly more recyclable here than the glass is. Unfortunately, again, being in Western Australia has its challenges because we don't have a lot of the facilities that the rest of the world has. We're somewhat Neanderthals. I think you were saying before that they like to pull the piss out of Perth a little bit. Well, yeah, we're a long way behind, so we have to do a lot of work to catch that back up again. So there's a lot of different things that we do at the brewery specifically. I mean, I haven't started on soil health. So our farm's about 1,200 acres. In your units, 600 hectares is what we would say here. And on that space, we've actively been reducing all of our fertilizer, pesticide, herbicide inputs over the last 10 years. We've planted nearly 100,000 trees in that time. And basically it's about increasing biodiversity and increasing the soil diversity. So we're concentrating on soil microbes and microbial activity, really trying to bring back the retention and capacity of our soils on site. So there's a lot of different angles that we approach. Our ethos is about reducing our waste, making our place better, and making the farm more productive over time by being smart in the way that we go about it. It's not about, again, being perfect. We try to get rid of plastic wherever possible. Unfortunately, pallet wrap still comes into site, and there's not a lot that we can do about that in some circumstances. We use reusable wraps on site, so we don't pallet wrap any of our freight until it goes off site. Unfortunately, some of the DCs that we use require pallet wrap. We do use a biodegradable version. I'm not entirely sure that I can vouch for or validate that. So, sorry, I'm talking a lot. Please feel free to interrupt me.
We prefer that.
Yeah, what we love is when someone's passionate about something, especially something interesting like this. So here it's great.
I guess it's for us, it's an ethos of look at the problem, and the problem is that we hate plastic, we hate waste, we hate excess of anything. So we want to get our beer out to our customers as fresh as it possibly can be, with the lowest impact it can possibly have, and then we build everything around that and try and make the best bloody beers possible with the lowest impact, but accept that at times there will be some. I mean, at the end of the day, we still have to use trucks to come to and from the site. Unfortunately, there's no battery-powered trucks here, and there probably won't be for some time. Again, like I say, Western Australia is a little bit behind the rest of the world, so we have to push pretty hard to make change.
Well, I'll be honest, I do my best to support the Alaskan breweries, the Sierra Nevada, and the Terrapin Brewing that have all been on our show and talked about their goals to reduce their carbon footprint too. I just love the fact that they're going out there and making things happen that some places just aren't willing to do.
Yeah, I think it's we took a lot of inspiration from Sierra Nevada and what they do, from Firestone Walker and what they've done as well. Even Russian River doing what they're doing in terms of the water recycling, and having the infrastructure on site to be able to do that. There's a lot of breweries doing some really cool things. I mean, New Belgium, I guess, started that whole pathway as well. And obviously they're a much larger scale than we are and have more resources to be able to throw at it, but we can take learnings and scale down some of the projects and some of the things that they've done. And well, certainly I find it fascinating and find it really good fun finding those little wins. And a lot of the time those little wins also turn into economic wins as well, which is a really nice addition. It's not like it costs us more to do things better. Generally speaking, actually, in the long term, it costs you a lot less to do it better.
Awesome. I really do love it. So let's talk a little bit more about the beer. Obviously, Rob had some stuff that he really liked, so I'm gonna pass it over to him to talk about some of the stuff he tried.
Well, I'll start with one of my wife's favorite beers that she had down there was a stout with Shiraz in it. And she kept going back for that. And I saw that there's a new one with Shiraz in it. So that would be where I would start.
Yeah, that's a yearly
So how
release.
did that beer come about?
It's a yearly release we do every day. It's Imperial Stouts, 12.5% with Shiraz juice, coffee, and cacao. Yeah, very decadent. But yeah, Hamish can tell you more about like how that beer come up to like reality, because I don't know the story behind it actually.
So it's a yearly release. It's called DB. Again, forgive me. This is before we got in a little bit of trouble for the name. The name was called Dirty Bitch. It was named after my puppy. She was a bitch and she was lovely, but she always got herself covered in shit out the farm. She thought it was the best thing ever. We shortened the name to DB, but she still stayed on the label. So the idea came from the fact that down here in the lower southwest of Western Australia, we are in an amazing wine region. It's the Margaret River region. So we have a lot of fantastic producers, mainly Cab Sav and Chardonnay, the two sort of, I guess, mainstay wines that this region produces, but Shiraz has been a backbone for some time as well. So we thought it'd be really nice to play around a little bit with the tannic qualities from the wine, given that we put it into wine barrels as well. We thought, why don't we add in a whole pile of fresh juice as well? So we make the beer every year during harvest. So we grab a couple 100 litres of Shiraz from some good mates of ours up the road, and we blend that in whirlpool before then fully fermenting it out. So it's a 12.5% imperial stout. We do adjunct it fairly heavily. As JP said, it gets, and has had in the past, a whole pile of different treatments, including spending some time in some maple barrels. That version is exceptional. Coffee, chocolate, vanilla, you name it. We try and make it as rich and decadent as it can be, balance out that tannic quality, but it does give it a very unique flavour profile, and we're quite happy with that. It's not something that everyone's going to like, but people who like it tend to really enjoy it. So it's always, I guess, the thing with our beers. We've got 32 beers on in Brunswick. We've got 40 over here. You're not going to like everything that we make, but neither should you. At the end of the day, that's not the aim. The aim is to have some fun, experiment, play with different flavour profiles, different styles, and it means that when you're walking into the bar, I know that there'll be something on tap that you'll like, and we've just got to find it and go on that journey and find the right beer for your palate.
Yeah, and I don't remember what all I drank because I was there, I think, 3 times, and I did work around the menu quite a bit, but of course it changed over those 3 weeks, so I had quite a few options there. I remember at least a Pilsner, hazies for sure, a West Coast IPA. Is there a style? Well, it sounds like you play with the styles to try to make sure everyone has something, but are there styles that you prefer or that sell better?
IPAs are usually the best sellers, especially hazies. Like there's still a lot of hype around those type of beers, but I personally just went full circle and I'm back to Pilsners, lagers. Give me the crispest thing I can drink. That's what I want to drink nowadays. I enjoy obviously like a nice IPA every now and then, or a stout. Like I like most styles of beer, but like I'm now drinking a lot of lagers and a lot of British style beers as well, like ESBs, mild ales. I'm really enjoying those at the moment. But yeah, what sells the most? Well, we have a really good deal in our Pilsner, so that's definitely our number one seller here. We do $7 pints of that beer every day, all day, which is insanely cheap for how expensive beer is here in Melbourne, and not only Melbourne, Australia in general. So yeah, people really enjoy that beer and really appreciate that deal. Um, and yeah, IPAs I would say are the next ones. Our Core Range Cali IPA here is quite popular. Um, and yeah, I don't know what's the vibe in Western Australia. What's most popular there?
Yeah, I mean, look, hazy IPAs are still on that train. They sell very well whenever we brew them. I think when it comes to what we prefer to brew, definitely the brew team prefer West Coast IPAs. It's definitely a style that resonates well with all of us. We're definitely taken to the Cali, I guess, Cali style West Coast. So a little bit lower bitterness, a little bit leaner malt body, and more of a prominent hop profile. That sort of, I guess, subclass has been a favourite of ours here, particularly for a while now, and we quite like playing in that space. But as JP said, I think there is a bit of a resurgence towards crisp, just clean, crisp, and certainly drinkability is at play. I mean, here in Australia, a little bit different to the US, we do see mid-strength beers a lot. So that 3.5% to 4% range is a very popular ABV. It's, I guess, it's partially to do with alcohol tax here. We get taxed by ABV essentially, or liters of alcohol. It's a really convoluted system, but basically it means that it gets very expensive for 6, 7, 8% beers. They get exceptionally heavily taxed. I mean,
so your 12% stout is
yeah. We take a pretty big hit on some of the big beers because you can't sell them for the price you need to maintain GP. So it is what it is. I mean, a stat for you: we pay roughly $2 in tax for every $1 ingredients that we put into our beers. So we have more tax in our beers than we do ingredients. It's absolutely ludicrous, but that's just what it is. But I wish it was the other way around, because I'd rather pay our suppliers more for quality ingredients and pay less tax. But anyway, that's life.
Well, here in the U.S., the lower ABVs are actually starting to become more popular. So,
yeah,
I mean, there is.
Yeah, I think people are health conscious. I mean, it's that moderation, I guess, mindset starting to come into play, and it's understandable. I mean, I'm drinking mid-strength now. I mean, it is 8:30 in the morning, so I need to start a little bit slower. But nearly 9 o'clock now. But yeah, but it is I guess we are seeing people be a little bit more mindful about the amount of stout drinks they're drinking, the amount of alcohol that they're putting in their body, but they still want to drink, which is great. So we'll just make sure that we supply beers that fit the bill. So have a little bit of fun in that space and try and make them as flavorful and as tasty as possible, I guess.
I was looking it up. The $7 Australian is about $5 US, and I did find that was on the cheaper side of the beers that I saw while I was over there. It was also in New Zealand, and same sort of issue. The beer is expensive.
Yeah, probably you won't find any cheaper anywhere else.
Yeah. So I remember very much enjoying the Pilsner. That was probably how I started most of my nights there, and I don't remember what all I had back in the places that we were staying, like in the fridge, but I'm pretty sure some of your beer found its way there too.
Nice.
Yeah. So go ahead, Wendy.
So obviously you have to distribute somewhere, because we talked about trucking and stuff. Do you distribute all over, or is there just certain places or places you're still trying to get to?
Look, we predominantly Western Australia, so Victoria and Brunswick, we've got a fairly good presence. We do send a little bit of beer into Tasmania and a little bit into New South Wales, but other than that, not a huge amount on the East Coast. As we said, we're pretty geographically isolated from the rest of Australia here. We ship a little bit of beer up into Singapore. It's actually closer Singapore than Melbourne is. Get your map out and a ruler, but it's kind of hard to believe at times, but Singapore's just there, and we can, as we said, put it in a reefer and get it on a ship, which is a far lower impact way of moving the beer around, and it gets there in pretty good nick because it's only a few days on the water to get there. So that's the other market that we kind of concentrate on, but outside of that, we don't send beer too far. It's mostly within about 3 hours of our brewery here in Western Australia. That's where the majority of our beer goes.
Okay.
In my real life, I'm in IT, and I did some training. Like I led some training classes in Singapore, and had a ton of Australians who were thrilled that we were offering classes in Singapore because it was so much closer.
Yeah. It's an awesome city as well. I really do thoroughly enjoy Singapore. It's a great place.
Yeah,
the weather's always
nice. Very nice to visit.
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Speaking of which,
it is here in Michigan to Canada than I am to Texas.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. That's the thing, right? Yeah. You find the local markets and the local communities that resonate with you, and you sort of, well, we found it best just to concentrate on growing community and growing that local market, and that's worked really well for us here in WA. Like I say, we always pull the piss out of ourselves because our brewery is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Our main marketing slogan's "Where the fuck's Jindong?" because no one knows and no one can find it. So it's a bit of fun. I think the population in our last census for Jindong was 68 people. So yeah, we're
Do you have that on shirts?
Where the fuck's Jindong? We do, yeah.
Because I would totally buy that.
I saw that on the beer mat under the taps. I quite appreciated it.
Yeah,
Or
a lot of people ask
yeah.
if it's a fruit or if it's a Chinese city. It's funny.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, Rob, you've been trying to ask a question. Get it out.
I was going to ask about the so you had memberships on your website, and they looked a little different from the traditional U.S. mug clubs that I'm used to, where you basically get a mug and fuller pours of beer. So do you want to talk about the memberships and what people get from those?
Yeah. So the membership here, what we have is basically a free membership. People can sign up either on the website or in person at the venues. People get a point for every $1 spent, and every $10 spent, it's $1 back. It's kind of like a cashback system. So technically, it's like 10 cents for every $1 spent. So it's a very, very popular system. People love. It's kind of like gamification of drinking beer in a way. You get points, then you can have free beer eventually, or free merch, which is pretty cool. And people get also free deliveries when they order through the website, which is pretty cool as well. And yeah, I don't know if I'm missing anything.
No, I mean that's in essence that's what it is. So it's 10 points equals $1 back. So it's essentially 10% off everything, but as a cashback system rather than as just 10% off up front. And then you get access to happy hour and a couple other discounts as well on top of that when you sign up as a member. We just try and keep it simple for the team to manage rather than make it too complex. We do have a pseudo mug club at our Bustle and Tap Room as well. That's like, it's kind of developed over time with the locals and they have their mugs there, but we don't charge anything for that. We just roll with it and keep them happy because those guys are they basically have their own stools now. So we just make sure that they feel welcome all the time, which is good. But yeah, we've gone back and forth about different loyalty and membership systems for a long time, and again, we just wanted something that's simple, that was easy to manage and didn't put an impost on the crew to stay on top of. It's fascinating. I did a lot of research on the American mug club styles, and all of them look fantastic. I just wasn't sure that we had the capacity to implement one here. They looked a little bit more complex than we were looking for. So, yeah.
One of the things I take great advantage of, and well, I'm in a few mug clubs, of course, but in one of the mug clubs is $2 off every growler fill. So how do you guys do growlers? Is that a thing in Australia to get to-go beer in that way?
In Melbourne, it's not that big. We have like maybe a customer a month that asks for growlers. We can do them, but I wouldn't say it's a thing.
Yeah, they're reasonably popular here in WA. I mean, we might get 8 or 10 a week coming through each of the venues, but not high volumes. It's interesting. It went really hard for a few years, and then it seems to have just tapered off. I'm not sure whether it's, again, people aren't drinking the whole 2 liters or liter of beer when they get home, or what the story is there. We still see takeaway sales are high, but the growler side of things it's there and it keeps going. We actually find that we get probably as many requests for 19-litre corny keg fills as we do for growler fills, for people to put them on their home tap system, which is cool. And we support that. Fresh beer on draft at home sounds fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, I always found that growler is a good compromise of not having to have a tap system at home.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, here in the U.S., all the breweries talk about how cooperative the industry is, and how they always want to work together, and how helpful other breweries are. When you get in a bind, somebody's always there to step up and help you out. Is that the way the system is in Australia?
Yeah, 100%.
Very much so.
Yeah. In my short period that I've worked in the industry here, it's a very, even though there are like quite a few breweries, at least in Melbourne and in Victoria, it's still like a very small industry. Everyone knows each other. Everyone are like kind of like friends in a way. So, yeah, like I don't know. For example, like a month ago, like another brewery needed like hops, and we're like, yeah, like we lend them hops, and then they give you like a couple beers back, and then if you need them, they'll give you hops. Like it's like always like everyone's very open to collaborate, which is really cool. There's like a very tight community around beer, because it's not a lot of us, and we all know that requires a lot of passion to stay in the industry. So people like really value that, I guess.
It's definitely a rising tide mentality. We're all working together to get more people drinking good beer. I think that's the real key to the camaraderie in the industry. We all just want to see people out enjoying themselves, smiling, and drinking local independent beer. That's the big driver here. There's 600 odd independent breweries in Australia. And we represent about 9% of beer sales in Australia. The other 90% is represented by the 2 big guys and the Cooper's family. So the Cooper's family, good on them, and that's an amazing beer and an amazing story. But 2 Japanese conglomerates own 85% of the taps and about 85% of the beer sales here. So it's very much independence, trying to take share from the big guys, not so much fighting each other. It's all about supporting each other.
A lot of people here
like we've
talk
heard that
about
story.
how the beer industry is starting to plateau, or drop even a little. Do you feel like you guys are still in the upward swing, or?
Definitely on that plateau as well. I think if anything, we've probably receded a little bit over the last couple of years. That being said, there's a lot of optimism out there at the moment, and certainly we're seeing a new generation of people come into good beer, which is great. There's a lot of work going into communication at the moment, and you're seeing more and more breweries trying to find what it is that's going to bring younger drinkers back to good quality local independent beer. And it's really just reinforcing that narrative of it being independent. We are your local. It's not about coming and drinking 40 beers. It's about coming and enjoying one or two in a space that's designed for people to talk. It's one of the big things about all of the local breweries that we find is that their place is designed for people to be comfortable and to be communicative, and they're not about screens or about sports betting or even sports for that matter. They're mostly about interpersonal communication and actually connecting in a real way with your friends. I'm not sure if that's what you see where you guys are, but that's certainly what I see here. And I think it's a really important thing. We are all about community, and we are all about bringing the positive benefits that come from people sitting down around a table and having a chat, not staring at their screens or at their phones, because there's enough of that goes on, and we want to break that. So.
I also happened to be there during World Cup, and people were not on their phones. They were glued to the TV and having a wonderful time.
Yeah, good.
So similar to cooperation, there is the competitive part of it, of beer festivals. So what is the beer festival scene like down there?
Really good fun.
Yeah, really good fun. Here in the East Coast, we used to have, like, because it didn't happen this year, but this festival called GAPS. It was like the staple of beer festivals in the East Coast. But unfortunately, this year, like, they canceled it. I'm not sure why, but yeah, we have a few smaller beer festivals. There's one in Turkey that Blackman Brewery organized. There's one in Jindong as well. There's like another in Bendigo actually this weekend, which is like regional Victoria. More like smaller and like more local focused festivals, I'd say, right now. Hopefully GAPS come back next year, because it's a lot of fun, as Hamish said. And yeah, I think in WA they just had a big festival which looked pretty cool.
Yeah, we had so there's two big festivals in the I guess the rounds here in WA, which one in August called Frothtown, that was on last weekend. There was 22,000 people through for that, so it was a pretty big festival for here. Lots of beers drunk, lots of fun, lots of really good breweries, just really good vibes all around. And then the other big one is for WA would be the Fremantle Beer Festival, which is in November. It's similar vibe. I think about 15,000 people through as well. So lots of beers slung, lots of people learning about good beer and just generally good vibes. So yeah, they're always good fun. Always worth attending, that's for sure.
Yeah, Wendy and I are excited because Great American Beer Fest is coming up, and we will be there. And it's just, it'll be my first time. I'm very excited.
Mine as well.
Nice.
Okay, excellent. I saw that
maybe
you
we'll get on a plane, JP. We'll just jump on a plane. We'll see you there. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
I saw you got 2026 Champion Large Brewery from the Perth Royal Beer Awards. So are the beer awards like the GABF do?
Each state has its own. So there's one major one in Australia, the AIBA's, Australian International Beer Awards, and then each state runs its own smaller ones. So I think there was something like 600 beers in the Perth one, so it's nice. It's definitely a good accolade, and it's nice for the brewers to be obviously putting the beers forwards and being judged on the quality and consistency of them. It's nice to get that feedback as well. Certainly that's one of the key parts of the beer judging programs in Australia is getting that feedback and getting that I guess check and balance on the consistency and quality of everything going through. We all have our internal sensory programs, but it's nice to have those external ones to validate everything as well, because sometimes you get a little bit stuck in your own space and flavor profiles, and you forget that there are other people and other beers out there. It's actually a real danger not trying and drinking other beers. Occupational hazard, I guess. But yeah.
It's currently state fair season here in the U.S. because it's our summer. It's your tail end of your winter, I guess, tail end of our summer. And so the Indiana State Fair just announced all theirs, and not surprising, a lot of Indiana breweries did very well in the Indiana State Fair.
Yeah. That's generally how it.
I would hope so.
Goes.
Yeah. It didn't feel like summer in San Francisco, though. It's very cold.
No, it does not.
I don't even know if Michigan has a beer competition at their state fair anymore. We used to have a huge state fair. Like, it had its own fairgrounds and everything, and now it's not quite as big. They turned it into an airport, I believed.
Okay.
You never know. But we do
yeah,
have other beer competitions, though.
Yeah. Yes. So I was down there for June, which would have been the early part of the winter, and I found the weather to be very agreeable. Coming from our summer, for one thing, it was a heat wave up here, 100 plus degrees F, so above 30 C, and it was ridiculous. And then down there, highs maybe got up to 70, so upper 20s, I guess. Yeah. It was pretty pleasant.
Yeah, this year's been a very mild winter. So you got lucky.
Excellent.
And our winters aren't particularly, our winters aren't particularly bad here, though. We're pretty lucky. I mean, it might be a couple of real cold days, but get a little bit of rain, a little bit miserable. But overall, we're pretty lucky. It's fairly temperate here for the most part, particularly here in WA. I mean, Melbourne can get the 4 seasons in one day effect. JP knows too well.
I feel like every city claims that.
Have you been to Michigan?
We don't here. Like we're like, it's either summer or winter. There is no between.
Okay. That's the Chicago way.
Yes.
Yeah.
If people were going to come down and visit Perth on a beer crawl, what sort of places would they want to check out?
In Perth, I'm going to upset someone here because I won't remember everyone. But
I know. So I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that.
Yeah, no, that's all good. So it's good mates of ours. Found Brewing. You've got Blaster Brewing around the corner from us. Fat Brew Club. Bright Tank Brewing. So Gage Roads is a must visit on the wharf. That's a beautiful spot to sit and have a beer and watch the ships roll by. Help me out here, JP. Where else is there?
I would definitely go to Besk. I love that bar.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah, that is a really cool bar. You're right. That's a great spot to go. I don't know. There's about 60 breweries in and around Perth, so there's plenty to see and plenty to do. And obviously, don't try and do them all in one day because it'll get a little bit too much. There's a lot of variety, a lot of really good beer. Like we're very lucky. I think beer in Australia has come a long way over the last 10 years, and the quality out there resoundingly is very good now. And definitely. We, as I think all beer markets went through a bit of a cowboy phase and a cowboy era, and now we're in the quality and consistency and making sure that customers get what they want and have asked for every time that they come in the doors now. So it's about maintaining that. I think, like I said, we're very lucky. There's some really, really good beers out there, and some really good bars that support that good beer as well.
So just trying to talk up Perth a little bit, roughly how long would it take to drive from one side to the other? I'm just trying to get an idea. 60 bars.
To do those,
I think it's probably
one side of Perth, the other side. If you go east to west, it'll take you about 45 minutes. If you go north to south, it'll take you about an hour and a half. It is a very very large rolling city. There's not a lot of traffic. It's just sprawled. I think the stat is that we've got about the same land area as London takes up for a population of about 1.5 million, as opposed to I think 12 million in London. So it's not actually a very good stat, but that's what it is. It's a coastal city. It is really quite beautiful, particularly through the fringe seasons. The autumn and spring are by far the nicest seasons here. Summer gets quite hot, and flies are somewhat annoying. Winter is beautiful if you like greenery and want to go and sit in wineries and sit by the fire. Then that's the time of year to be here. Otherwise, those fringes are magic. Sunsets are glorious. There's no wind. The beaches are magic. We've got some amazing surf breaks here, and people go around the world and rave about beaches everywhere. I don't think I've found better beaches than we have here. Quite honestly, it's we're very lucky. So, you want a postcard for WA? Tell people to search Rocknest Island. It's a little island just off the coast, and it's beautiful.
It's sounding like Perth would be a good stop, like on a if you did a big Australian beer tour, then it sounds like you could do a great weekend in Perth at least.
Definitely. You'd want to give yourself 3 days. I think if you gave yourself at least 3 days to do beer properly here, you'd go well. We are a long way from anywhere, so you want to make sure you don't have to fly in and out too rapidly. So that's the
That's right. And then you said
people say they're going to come. Sorry, you go.
Oh, you said I think it's a 5-hour flight to Melbourne, so give that a chance too. Yeah,
it's a fair old hike, but it's good. Melbourne's great. I mean, JP can speak to the beer scene there, but there's some amazing breweries there as well, and all within spitting distance. It's pretty easy to get around as well, and trams and Ubers. We're not quite so lucky down here, but yeah.
Yeah. So JP, you want to talk about the beer scene in Melbourne and getting around? And because I used the tram system extensively when I was there, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. It's very easy to move around. Not so like in Perth. You need a car over there, unfortunately. So you need a designated driver. But yeah, here we're very lucky, especially in Brunswick, where Rocky Ridge is. There are a lot of breweries here. Top of my head, I really like Inner North Brewing in Brunswick. Ridge Road is like one of the iconic from regional Victoria. They have a tap room very close from us as well. Gales, co-conspirators as well. Outside the neighborhood, Stomping Ground, which is one of the staple breweries from Melbourne. Bodrigi as well. We're really good friends with them. Shout out to Anders, his head brewer. He's lovely person. Jules as well. They're the best. What else? There are some cool craft beer bars as well. Beer Mash in Collingwood, the Catfish and Near and Far in Fitzroy. There's a spoil of choice. That's the thing with Melbourne. Like I feel like whatever you like, you'll find it here. Good restaurants, good coffee, good beer, good music, good arts. It's a very, very, very cool city. And yeah, like you could spend easily like a week here and you'll feel like you need more because there's a lot to see and a lot to do.
We spent about 10 days in Melbourne, did not run out of stuff to do, still had more stuff on our list that we could have gotten to. And we weren't there just for beer, but I did definitely find a lot of those places that you mentioned, and I had a good time.
Yeah, and I haven't even mentioned like South Side, because it's all north from the Yarra, and like South Side, there's like even more stuff, more breweries. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we spent about 4 days in Sydney and about 5 days in New Zealand, in Auckland. So much fun.
Yeah, Sydney has a really cool beer scene as well. Like in Marrickville, just Marrickville, you have like 10, 12 breweries, which is crazy, and really, really good stuff there as well.
Yeah. Cool. We are getting towards the end of the show, and we usually wrap the show by asking questions that may or may not be related to beer, might be more fun things. I don't know if this applies in Perth, but I'm going to ask it for Melbourne for sure. Hey, JP, what's the best HSP in your area?
HSP? What's
the halal snack pack? the Lao snack back. That's fries and gravy and I don't know what all's in it. It's delicious though.
Oh,
It's got like doner meat on it, and it's so
no,
good.
you caught me here. I don't know. I've never had
Oh,
one
okay.
actually, so I'm sorry.
I just found it was the best drinking food that you could find.
I've heard good things though. We were talking about that yesterday here at the bar. Because it's apparently it's the best snack to have with beer.
It's really
Well,
good.
get on it.
Do they have that in Perth?
So, yeah, you'll see it in Rocky Ridge, Brunswick.
Certainly not down here.
No.
So our unfortunately our late night snacks or our evening snacks are few and far between here. We're sadly lacking.
Well, I will
You're
say
not
that
running to the
I had quite a
McDonald's then, huh?
Unfortunately, that's that. Yeah.
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 a few HSPs while I was in Melbourne, and I enjoyed them all.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know that I could distinguish, but yeah, they were perfect.
Nice.
Wendy, do you have a final question?
My final question is, what is your go-to beer right now?
Ooh. Rocky Ridge Pilsner. That's what I mostly drink nowadays.
My go-to is some good mates of ours. I mentioned it before. Found Brewing in Perth. They've got a beer called Calivesa. So it's a West Coast blend with Cerveza. It's perfect. Just super crisp. Beautiful hop aroma, beautiful clean body. They use flaked corn in it as well. It's just it's a little bit mind bending the first time you have it, but it's ridiculously drinkable. I love it. So
Nice.
That does sound like a good beer. Yeah, an interesting beer.
It's great for a warm afternoon here. It's perfect. Like it's got enough hop profile to be interesting, and it just finishes superbly. You know, those beers that make you want to go back for another sip. It's one of those.
I like those.
Yeah.
Excellent. Does Rocky Ridge have anything coming up either in Perth or Melbourne that they want to mention?
Father's Day is coming up next, not this Sunday, the following Sunday. I think we're doing some pretty big events across each of the venues for that. Just promoting Dad and saying thank you to all of the amazing dads out there. So come on down, drink some beers with us, and have a bit of fun. But outside of that, we've just got our limited releases keep rolling out the door, and we just want to have a bit of fun and make people smile. If you're ever in doubt about coming and having a beer, we'll always have something new on. So. Sorry, JP. Yeah.
And also our second anniversary at Rocky Ridge Brunswick in September. Yeah, mid-September. So it's going to be a big party down here. Celebrating 2 years of Rocky Ridge Brunswick.
Love it.
Well, excellent. I will make sure my son gets there. He probably already knows about it.
I'll surely see him around.
Yeah. Wendy, do you have anything coming up?
In 3 weeks, I'm headed to Topeka, Kansas. I will hit a couple of breweries while I'm there. And other than that, I'm kind of holding out for JABF. Super excited. Woohoo.
Yeah,
Nice.
I too am excited for GABF. I will be in Grand Rapids Labor Day weekend. That is not today. Today being the 28th of August in the US. That is the next weekend. So whenever you hear this show or see the show, if you're in Grand Rapids, I will be there. I will be dressed as something. Might be a shark, banana, pickle, hot dog. I think those are the 4 main suits I have, but I also have funny hats, and I might be wearing one of those instead, wandering around Grand Rapids or in the DeVos Convention Center playing board games. So just come say hi.
We also have our competition going right now, our contest to win the Zane Lamprey tickets. on September 4th and September 5th at at River's Edge Brewing Company in Milford, Michigan, and Coonan Brewing Company in Clinton Township. The secret word is plepius. If you've ever watched St. Lamprey, you know what that means. We are not counting spelling. Go to the link on the website to fill out the secret word and try to get your free tickets.
As for show stuff, you can always find us at betterondraft.com. We are on all the social medias with the tag Better on Draft. So YouTube, Facebook. We had a lot of friends joining, I think mostly JP on YouTube. So it was great seeing you all in the comments. Thank you very much for that. And we are of course out there, and we will be pushing out clips on Instagram, so you can find us on there as well. Our next show is on September 11th. It will most likely be a news show, and we look forward to seeing all of our people again then. So Hamish, JP, thank you very much. It has been wonderful to talk to you. I hope people are excited to go. It sounds like an Australian trip would be a wonderful beer trip for people to consider.
It is, yeah. Thanks so much for having us on. Really appreciate it, Rob, Wendy. Cheers, JP.
And so we will end the show the official way we end every show. And we will say, whatever you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.